Shaykhuna, the question was regarding the sister who her niece had passed away, or nephew, sorry. May Allah make it easy, have mercy upon the family and have mercy upon the
I
son
mean,
that passed away. What would be the ruling with regards to the women of the family visiting the grave? And I believe there was a second question regarding but regarding flowers. Okay, so for example, when they put flowers in the grave, is that permissible as well? Inshallah, please let me know your thoughts.
okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, I mean, there's differing views about visiting graves, but for the most part, I would say that the kind of the principle of it is, you know, is that the ulama have always been hesitant, or where you see hesitation or even opinions of impermissibility about women going to the graveyards, is because of uh, just a tendency to not have control of emotions, and to go too far in expressing grief. And I think that should be, if you like, the line and the basis on which we decide whether to go to the grave or not. If you go to graveyards, if you go to Hainaut, for example, you'll see sisters there. And I think the key is that if women want to go, they should be allowed to go, provided that there is confidence, that they won't lose control and start, wailing on the grave and so on and so forth. A lot of this doesn't happen as much as it used to before. I mean, I've seen some really crazy stuff, even like at East London Masjid, right? But and alhamdulillah, it's increasingly kind of going. But it's also a question of, it's also a matter of personal decision. Like, one has to personally ask themselves whether they're, because when you go up to the grave, sometimes the emotions can rush, whether they're going to be able to keep control of themselves. And everybody knows what kind of a person they are and how good they are at controlling their emotions and so on. The key is that there should be no wailing, and there should be control of emotion, so that in a public place like a graveyard, where other people are also there to pay their respects and make dua and so on, people aren't kind of, crying aloud and wailing and so on and so on. So I think that's the key. There's always been this stereotype, that women find it difficult to control their emotions, and on that basis, there's always been a sense of, okay, they shouldn't go to the grave. But as long as that's under control and they feel confident that that is going to be under control, then they can go to the graveyard. With regards to laying flowers, look, this is not something that is from our tradition. So if you were to ask me a question, a neutral question, and the neutral question would be, what should a Muslim do when they go to the graveyard, when they go to visit somebody's grave? That would be a neutral question. I would simply tell you what the Sunnah actions are, right? That you go to the grave, you read the dua, and you can pray for the person, etc., etc. You say salam to them and so on. Assalamu alaikum. يا أهل القبور يغفر الله لنا ولكم أنتم سلفنا ونحن بالأثر. There's a couple of different wordings for the dua, and then you can. It's permissible to recite some Quran and stand there and reflect for a little while, and perhaps do some dhikr or make some further dua. Things like that are fine, and then that's it, right? And then reflect on your own mortality and come back, right? That's all we would say. I wouldn't say now, okay, and also it might be a good idea to be thoughtful and leave some flowers. That would not be part of the discussion. That's what I mean. I think whenever ulama say this isn't part of our tradition, that's what they mean. They mean that if we were giving you like positive instructions about what it is that you are supposed to do, and these are things that we wouldn't include in there. So then you have to kind of ask a different kind of question, that if for whatever reason a person, you know, finds it meaningful, whether it's based on a different custom or a different culture and so on, they find it in some way meaningful to go and leave flowers, would that be permissible? And I hope viewers can appreciate the reason why I'm putting it in that way. There is a difference between something that is prescribed or promoted and preferred in our tradition, so that when asked, how is it in our tradition, that particular practice or custom would be included in it. And something that isn't a part of it, and you're asking, is it permissible? Because I want to do it. And here the question is, well, why do you want to do that? Why can't you just stick to what the tradition recommends? So my point is, I'm not saying it's not permissible. I'm saying it isn't part of our tradition. If you ask the question, is it permissible? Well, provided that it's something that you do that you don't associate any particular meaning to, then you may do it. It would be something that would fall within the realm of the mubah or the permissible. But really, it's why you do it is really personal to you. It is not part of our tradition. Okay, inshallah.